Once you finish snotting, we'll get stuck in, mate.
All right, go for it.
All right, welcome back to another numbers game Premier League betting preview. So we're going to start with a wrap up of our predictions for midweek. Just me and Ollie this time, so there's no adults around. I don't really know how this is going to go. Should we just go and play golf? I can't even hear you, mate. I think your mic's gone.
I've put it on mute, mate, because I'm
Okay,
snotty
nice.
as anything with hay fever, and I've got a crying baby in the background. So what could possibly go wrong?
Nice. Okay, cool. Let's start with a wrap up of the predictions midweek. I had Marmoush goal or assist, City win, which obviously came in, but I needed over 2 goals in the game, and I think 2 came in the first half, didn't they? So unlucky with that one. Not so good predictions. Bournemouth to win. I think they messed up Aka's up and down the country, and I had Brighton, Villa, both teams to score. So all round, not as successful as our previous video. I think you had
Well,
under 4 in
speak for
every game.
yourself, mate. Speak for yourself, mate. Listen, right, you lot take the piss out of me for picking under four, right, in every single game. But under four came in every single game so far in this Premier League round, right? So you can laugh, but
So did under 7.
I'm the one who's making marginal gains here, and you know. So I had on the Tuesday night, my ACCA came in. I had Arsenal to win under 4 goals, and I had Nottingham Forest. I had Alanga shot on target under 4 goals in that one. So that was a nice juicy 7-2 double. But then last night my pick stunk the gaff out, mate. I had Bournemouth to beat Ipswich, which obviously didn't come in. Ipswich beat Bournemouth, and I had Crystal Palace to beat Southampton to 0, and obviously that was 1-1.
Oh,
So
no.
an absolute stinker, mate. But listen, we take our W's. I'm up overall, and we move on.
Mate, we've had a great few weeks. So let's get stuck into the next round then. We're going to go through the big games because, as you know, I'm a big 6 princess anyway. Notice I say big 6, not top 6, because it's Spurs and United aren't there anymore, but we don't care about Bournemouth, Villa, whoever's 6 at the moment. So firstly, it's Everton against Arsenal. How do you see this one playing out?
I think it will be similar to Fulham. I think Saka being back, obviously, boys Arsenal, but they'll have one eye on Real Madrid next week in the week. So don't think they'll rush Saka back into the starting 11. I think they're obviously Gabriel down, and I think this Arsenal team, what they are good at, especially with Saka coming on off the bench, is just grinding out a result. Everton, they look better under Moyes. Obviously, that last night against Liverpool was the first away game they've lost since Moyes came back. But I think this will be another loss for them. I think Arsenal will grind it out. It'll be another 1-0 or 2-1 kind of job here.
2-1's interesting, yeah. I noticed because Arsenal concede less than a goal a game, and obviously their XG reflects that as well. Everton, even under Moyes, struggle to create, and Arsenal are decent away from home. They're second in that league as well. Moisey, he's reduced the losses, hasn't he? But there's been a lot of draws. And I reckon, in a weird way, a draw would sort of fit the narrative here because Arsenal just don't ever seem to be real contenders for the title. I don't know. I could see Arsenal grinding out as well. I'd probably back Arsenal or draw and under 2.5. That's going to be my pick for this. So I don't agree with you
Mate,
2-1.
you laugh at
Don't
you
say
laugh at
under
my
4.
under fours. You laugh at my under fours, but what you've just picked there will be worse odds, I bet. Arsenal or
Well,
draw at home against Everton.
no, they're away.
Um,
It's at Everton.
sorry, they're away. Okay.
Yeah, that's what,
Um,
mate. That surely changes everything.
Not fancy a
Arsenal.
repeat of the Saka shot on target.
Yeah, to be fair.
Mate, if you're being clever, if you're going to be clever about it, you could do Nwaneri shot on target and do the super sub option because Nwaneri will definitely come off for Saka. So then you double him down.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I'd do Nwaneri shot on target with the super sub option that you get on some bookmakers, so that when he gets subbed off for Saka, you get Saka shot on target as well.
All right, well, this is our joint pick then for this one. Under 2.5 goals in a match, draw or Arsenal, and Wanyeri shot on target with the super sub option for Saka, which is very important. And that's 2-1. I like it.
I'd be going for under four and potentially be going for two shots on target, maybe, because Nwaneri will probably have one, and then Saka will probably have one when he comes on.
Very database that. Wanyeri probably get one in his 60 minutes or whatever. Right, okay. So next game I want to look at is Brighton against Palace, or Palace against Brighton. I know you're not a massive fan of Big Southern Fairies. and we've got the derby between them here. So it's not even a
Nah,
derby, is it? It's
mate,
like an hour
mate,
away. Why is that even a derby? Because
don't
it's the
put
most
words in my
southern team
mouth.
in London.
I mean, you say I'm not a big fan of Southern Fairies, but Jason's all right. Don't put words in my mouth.
He's been giving it big ones now. He's not here. So both of these teams had obviously really disappointing midweeks. So how do they respond, do you think? Especially in a big bust-up derby like this one. Is it going to be a battle of the Amex?
No, mate. I think I don't know. Brighton are a funny team for me because every time I watch them, they're crap. And
Can I just say as well, sorry to interrupt, it's
mm.
not going to be a battle of the Amex because it's at Selhurst Park, but carry on.
Great stuff, mate. Nice to see the prep's been done.
We need Jason back in there quick. I don't know what's going on.
I think, given the fact it's at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace are much better on the road anyway. So, but Brighton, has every time I watch them, they're awful. But they must be doing something right because they're right up there, and their form in 2025 has been great. Although they haven't won in the last three, I would say this one's got draw written all over it as well. And I wouldn't be touching this. There's not much that I like when it comes to betting on Brighton because they share the goals and the shots around a lot. And then when it comes to Crystal Palace, they're much more reliable on the road than they are at home. So, and it's a derby game as well. So, if you really, really, really need to put a pick on this, just go.
Don't say under 4.
No, I'd say something like both teams to receive a card is probably a decent option
because of the big derby. If there was another team, I know this is like, oh well, what if there was another team that was closer to City? Then that would be their derby. But surely it's only a grudge match because it is literally the most southern team in London.
Well, no, there's a history behind it that goes back. I can't remember the exact details. They wheel it out every time these two sides play to try and justify the fact they call it a derby. But I think the fans of both teams don't call it a derby; they call it a rivalry. But Sky love calling it the M25 derby or whatever it's called, don't they? Which is a load of bullshit. I think it dates back to something where I can't remember what it was. A player parred another player in the FA Cup or something. Then there was a bit of bitterness, and then it got revived when both teams got into the Premier League because both teams were like, "Well, we don't really have a rival or a derby match, so let's just contrive one a little bit." I think, and since then Sky have been milking it every year. So
yeah. And now with Glasner, the Palace manager, it's probably who's got the nicest cardigan.
Yeah, that's right. Hopefully big man John Philippe's back because for me, he's the most box office number 9 in the league and I want to see him starting games.
To go back to forcing us to make a pick, Brighton are there to be got at, so they will give away chances. And if Mateta does come back, then it may be a shot on target for Mateta is one of the only things that you could probably back in this game because he averages 1 per game across his last 10. Brighton, across the last 10, are conceding 1.3 XG. It's not horrendous. So, but then you never know which Brighton side's going to turn up. I think the only thing I would feel confident in is a Mateta shot on target, and that's not very confident at all. I'm with you. I'd probably avoid this one. Next game I want to look at, which is favourable for us because they're good value at home. Villa against Forest, and Villa are much better of these two teams across the last 10 games. Forest are it's like they're trying to kind of fall out of form, but they're not managing to. They keep grinding out the results by accident. Villa's stats much better of the two. Overall, I mean, Villa have lost 1 in the last 10. Forest have only won 4 games in the last 10. And the stats for Villa are just night and day compared to Forest here. So I think Villa at evens is good value. The algorithm agrees with me that it's good value. And I think I wouldn't be opposed to just backing Villa outright for the win here.
I think the problem is with that is Villa will have one eye on PSG midweek as well. And you don't know how they've got brilliant depth, Villa, in attacking position. There's no doubt about that now. They've got one of the most
That's the biggest thing for me about this, yeah.
But the defence is not brilliant, and especially with the injuries that they've got. I think Pau Torres is back now, but whether they'll play him or not, it remains to be seen. And obviously Forest, mate, it's just so hard to back against Forest this season. They're just so good at grinding it out. It's unbelievable. So I completely agree, but I think I'd be a bit worried given the midweek Champions League fixture for Villa. But as you said, their home form's brilliant. If you're going to back a result, I think Villa might be the team, yeah. But for me, this is
because of the value. We don't have to stick in a dead contrived acca, but when Villa are good value at home and they're playing a Forest side who have, like we say, they're getting the results, but they're not in as good a form, then I think that's a good pick. on its own. Don't try and mix it
You
in
know
Raka because
you
it'll
know what
probably
the
mess it up.
bookies are like, though, mate. You're getting good value because they know fine well that Emery's going to be resting players, and
Yeah.
we'll see. But I think once again, every time Forest play, I think low scoring game every single time, and I don't think this will be any different.
So let's have a look at some of Sunday's games. We're going to start off with Brentford against Chelsea because Chelsea favourites away from home. Brentford, as we know, really struggle at home. They're such a weird team. But Chelsea are inconsistent and Chelsea are bad away from home. So it's kind of a movable object meets a stoppable force. But Chelsea have the much better of the data between the two sides, but not across the last 10. So how do you see this
Yeah.
one playing out?
Well, it's worth saying that we're recording this before Chelsea play Tottenham, so we don't actually know how they got on in that game, which is a massive factor in all of this. But what I would say is that Brentford's home form has been poor because they played against good sides. Chelsea have been relying on their home form a lot recently. They've just won in the last 5 away games. I don't know. It depends how Chelsea play against Tottenham, but I think they've got players back from injury. Nick Jackson should be back. Madueke should be back. I'd fancy Chelsea probably to get a result if they beat Tottenham. I think with Brentford, they going out and attacking at the moment, being in the driving seat doesn't necessarily suit them. So maybe playing against Chelsea will play into their hands.
It's a tough one against predicting, like you say, because we've not seen the result against Tottenham. We'll move swiftly on to Fulham against Liverpool. Even though every week we say, right, this one's deciding the title, and then it goes Liverpool's way, and then we don't want to admit that the title's wrapped up. I want to talk about it anyway because the title is wrapped up. How do you see this one going?
Well, I think Fulham are a team that have been good this season, but they're in poor form. They're exactly the kind of team that you can grind a result out against. Their attack lacks a bit of penetration, and they've got a good defence, but not a stellar one, I wouldn't say. I mean, across the season, they've conceded nearly a goal and a half a game. I think it should just be another case of Liverpool grinding out a result. I think they've lost a bit of fluency and a bit of rhythm in their attack. Salah doesn't look like he's on quite as good form as he was maybe a couple of months ago. But I think that this Liverpool team are just so good and so experienced that they'll find a way. And they only probably need to score one. I mean, Liverpool's defence has been so good this season. It's the best in the league. They've been better away from home than they have been at Anfield, and Fulham have been better on the road as well. So Craven Cottage isn't exactly a fortress. So I just see another Liverpool 1 or 2-0, to be perfectly honest. Probably not a brilliant game, but they'll do enough.
I agree as well, and I was thinking a 1-0 or 2-0. The AI, interestingly, has the two most likely score lines as 1-1 and 2-1 to Liverpool, with 1-0 coming in third place. But I put that a bit higher up as well because Fulham, I can't see them getting a goal against this Liverpool team. They're a bit toothless, aren't they, going forward? And Liverpool conceding 1.07 xG per game. They're decent away from home. They're top of the home and away tables. So I feel like it's just going to be. They've got this perpetual forward motion, haven't they? This Liverpool team where they're just a machine and they just move forward, grind out the results, get the 3 points, and move on.
At the start of the season, they were looking like this brilliant attacking fluid team, and now they just look like champions. Now they're winning ugly,
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
grinding out results and doing what they need to do, and that's fair play to them. When you win games and you're not playing well, that's when you know it's your year.
Yeah, exactly. So for this one, I would actually back Liverpool because the odds are as they should be. So you're getting a decent deal for once from the bookies, and I can't see them dropping points here. So Liverpool to
Liverpool and
win
under four,
outright.
baby. Get under four on that slip as well.
Right, and now the biggest game in the world. United against City. What do we think? City, obviously big favourites going to Old Trafford. United played well against Forest, it has to be said, but this side, the opposite of Liverpool, definitely, where they can play all right and not get a result, and they can play shit and get absolutely hammered. So even if United play well, you could see City still getting the result, couldn't you?
I'm going to go rogue here, mate, because I think this is
United!
exactly the kind of game that United do better. I fancy United to get a result here. I think could easily see this being a draw.
A draw, is that a United result these days against City?
Yeah, I think the City's side is a bit soft in the middle. Yeah, I think without Haaland, who normally is a bit of a terror for United, I think this City side might lack a bit of a focal point, and they're obviously a bit soft in the middle at the moment. I think United will fancy the chances. they've got a good record against City, and I really think United could get a result here.
Yeah, so United haven't lost in the last 3 games against City, but this United team, you don't know with them who's going to turn up. However, they did play well against Forest. I mean, if you dig under the hood, that game against Forest, United created 2.2 XG to Forest 0.7. So unlucky to lose that game. Like I said, they're incapable of grinding out results, this United team. But the home form is good, and they'll be bang up for it against City, which they always seem to perform better, this team, when they're bang up for it. It's almost like they have a complacency when they're playing sides that aren't, a game that they don't have to get up for. So I've got the United bias. I can always see us getting a result against City. My head says that, yeah, a draw is not a bad prediction. I never bet on United. And if I had to put my neck on the line, I'd back United or draw.
Again, this is another derby game with two teams that are quite unpredictable this season. So I wouldn't make a bet on this. But if you really pushed me, I'd probably go for a draw, honestly, which is wild, and that shows you how hard it is to make a pick because I would never normally pick a draw.
What about both teams to score?
Yeah, both teams to score is a nice pick. Yeah, both teams to score is actually probably the best shout. Maybe a score draw if you're really feeling fruity.
Yeah. So the AI has both teams to score at 67%. So I feel like that would be our official recommendation for the video. Let's wrap it up there. I mean, we're yet to see what happens with Chelsea against Tottenham tonight. That'll be an interesting one. Maybe we'll jump on and do a quick short after the game about what we think Chelsea are going to end up doing on Sunday against Brentford. But that's it for the Premier League preview. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe for the next Premier League betting previews, Champions League betting previews. We've got it all. We're going to print money. Join us next time. See you in a bit, guys.
Peace out. Cheers.